When it comes to film musicals, I am usually more negative than I am positive. Now, this doesn't mean that I hate them, but I tend to find them just ending up mediocre most of the time. But what's interesting is that this year, there are a bunch of musical films coming out, and the majority of them I'm actually quite positive on. Of course, there's the Everyone Who's Talking About Jamie film, which I think is going to be pretty fun. You know, it's probably not going to be the greatest film of all time, but I think it's going to be a decent adaptation of the original source material. The annoying thing about that is we have no clue when it's going to come out because they just won't decide a date. They pushed it back and then they pushed it back and then they pushed it back a little bit further and then they've just left it in this state of unknowingness. And I really hope this statement doesn't come back to bite me when they inevitably announce the date that it comes out on the day that I upload this. I bet that's going to happen. I bet. But of course, the big one, the big film that everyone is so excited for next year is In the Heights. We were meant to get this film about June last year. And because of the Panda Express, it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. However, unlike Jamie, this film does have a final release date, thanks to the whole Warner Brothers idea of releasing films on their streaming service, which isn't available in the UK, so I don't know how they're going to do it here, but hooray. At the same time as they release them in cinemas. I don't typically do reactions to trailers, but today I wanted to take some time to go through this trailer, talk about the film, talk about what I'm hoping to see in the film, and just tell you why this film, out of all musical films, is the one that I'm kind of pinning my hope on. But you're new to the channel, hi, Daniel, talk about theatre, subscribe, like the video, subscribe, thank you. I just want to get onto the video quickly. just onto the video. So let's take a look at this new trailer that just come out. As Warner Brothers Pictures dubs it, powerful trailer. You have official trailer, you have powerful trailer. You underestimate my power. Okay, let's see how powerful this trailer is. Am I gonna cry? Probably.
Let me just listen to my block.
Oh, I love that street
It's
art.
quiet. Usually the one train's up there screeching.
There's so much stuff going on. Just got me thinking about all the people I care about the most. There's a breeze off the Hudson. And just when
God,
you think you're sick of living here, the memory floods in. The morning light off,
Just
the
look at
fire
that.
escapes, the nights and then the...
Pause for 1 second. Just look at that cinematography in that shot with the light coming up over the Manhattan Bridge. Just, oh my god, that looks so beautiful. That's the thing about musical films, is that because the stylization of the material itself is so non-naturalistic, you can lend your filmmaking to that, and it enhances the end product so much. And that's why, you know, the lighting can be very non-naturalistic. It's why people can break into dances so effortlessly. It's this whole style that you do kind of need to incorporate into the film altogether.
The Big Pun tapes.
I salute
It's
you,
a
Lil
story
Mama.
of a block that was disappearing once upon a time in a faraway land called Washington Heights. Who's gonna notice we're gone? Say it so it doesn't disappear.
Washington Heights!
Look who's
So
home!
cute.
Bad changes happening on the block since you've been at school. When it came to dreams, we had to keep scraping by.
What? I'm sorry, hang on 1 second. Was that... Did they manage to get Chris Jackson in here? Christopher Jackson, George Washington himself, and the original Benny is in this film. Oh, I love little things like that. Of course, there's a lot of people when you're making a musical film who will just say, oh, you need to get the entire OBC back, which I don't necessarily agree with that. I think for something like In the Heights, the original actors are way too old now. That was the problem with Rent, because Rent's film is about 20-something-year-olds, and when you've got all the actors when they're like mid-30s, it doesn't quite work, and they don't feel as innocent or naive to get away with their view on the world. But what I do like is putting these actors in smaller roles, in little cameos, so that people who know the original can go, ah, there they are. Oh, it's Chris Jackson.
Ice cold piragua.
It's silly when we get into these crazy hypotheticals. You really want some bread, then go ahead, create a set of goals.
I pick a business school and pay the entrance fee. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll stay friends with me.
They used to say, you work hard, you live by the rules, the things will come, and those things will heal you. I'm not gonna sit here and give you some fairy tale.
Ignore anyone who doubts you.
Cause this place,
I can feel the musicality in this film. Like, just in a little bits of cinematography, there's even just that musicality.
Let's go!
You know, let me just talk about that. You can feel that beat, like even with the little bits where they're spraying the water on the floor, the bit where the guy's drumming on the what's that called, the cooler box. Is there an American name for that? I don't know. Is there an English name for that? I don't know. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm a dumb boy. But there's so much musicality in just these little bits, and it gets me so hyped because it's so interesting to watch. I'm excited. I'm excited. And honestly, this doesn't happen much. It doesn't happen much that I'm watching like a trailer for a musical film and letting myself be excited for it. This is rare. This is so rare for me.
Go show them who we are.
Today's all we got, so we cannot stop. This is our block.
The urge to sing a little bit is just...
This is the moment where you do better than me. Because you can see a future that I can't.
Sonny, you're late. You know you love me?
I hate that because no, the time hasn't come, because it's March and this film comes out in June and it was meant to come out last June, but then you delayed it because you didn't want me to see the good musical. Can't you just release it on Netflix? I think I've slightly lost my sanity since. I think just ever so slightly I've lost my sanity in lockdown. Just
Yes, we are.
Tell everyone we know.
We are not powerless. We are powerful.
Oh, look at that. That sequence that they put in these trailers where they're walking down the building. That is another example of how you can stylize film. Like, it doesn't have to be completely naturalistic in a musical film.
Get the dough, and once we get going, we're never going.
I'm excited. I was preparing to watch that trailer and be like, oh, it's not as good as the first one, but I'm still pretty hyped. But no, I watched that and I'm like, I'm ready. Put me in that cinema. Get me in there right now. Put me in that seat. I think when it comes to musical films, this is ticking a lot of my boxes on a brief outlook. I also like how they really get that sense of community there. The cast of In the Heights isn't massive, you know. It's not a massive chorus show, and of course that's something that when you put it into a film, you do have to slightly adapt a bit more. You have the money and the time to properly expand this area, but yet that sense of community, just from that brief trailer, doesn't seem to be lost in it. Everything about this trailer gets me excited for it, and that is the mark of a good trailer. If a trailer gets you excited for the film wholeheartedly and just makes you forget any worries about this project and any worries about past musical projects or past projects in a similar vein to this film that have failed, that's what needs to be done. That is the mark of a good trailer. I don't think there's a single moment in this trailer that I can point at and say, I don't think they're going to get this right. Will it be perfect? I don't think so. I think always when you're dealing with adaptations, there is always going to be that comparison. You know, you're always going to be comparing it to the original source material, and that original source material is amazing. Like, the work that Lin-Manuel Miranda did on the original was just fantastic. But I'm hoping that this film is faithful enough that we can look at it and appreciate it, but also does enough on its own to justify its existence. And I think, from watching this trailer at least, I have a lot of faith that they are going to get that balance correct. But I'll pass it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Do you like it? Are you excited? Are there any other musical films that you are excited for this year? But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, Patreon, Twitch, merch, other videos on screen right now. I've been Daniel, you've been audience, thank you. Bye.